Does the Steam Deck VR? Yes, I got it to work. Should we be doing this though? Probably not. Going into this, I already knew it would not perform well because while the Steam Deck is powerful for a portable gaming console, it doesn't really have enough horsepower for VR games. But still, I had to try it for science, and I found it does run VR games better than I expected. I was able to play Beat Saber, VRChat, Compound, and even Half-Life Alyx just with my Quest 2 and the Steam Deck wirelessly. This is extremely interesting because the Steam Deck is Valve's new portable gaming device available from $399 US. They call it a stepping stone to what one day could be Valve's standalone VR headset. That's what I'm showing you today, but first a big thanks to today's sponsor. Did you know that your browser can hog up resources which can cause lag or FPS drops in your gaming session? You should try OperaGX as it's a free browser made for gamers. It has handy built-in features like you can limit the network bandwidth and even the CPU or RAM used by the browser. This enhances performance on your PC when gaming with your browser open. Perfect if you keep many tabs open like for music, Cas and Chary, or game build guides. There's social media integration too, like you can add Twitch or Discord, making it just a click away. The same goes for your favorite music app like YouTube Music, Spotify and Apple Music. But the best thing is that it's free, so make sure to download it using the link below. A mobile version is available too that you can connect to the desktop version. Let me know what you think. So if it wasn't clear yet, the Steam Deck isn't actually made for VR. It's a handheld gaming PC with support for Steam games, and many flat games work great out of the box, but it runs a version of Arch Linux called SteamOS, a pretty open operating system with a Windows-like interface. So you can see the deck as basically a PC. This means you can install anything and tweak it how you want like a PC. Even if you mess things up, you can just reformat it. Valve, being the good guy that they are, even condones tinkering with it. So I did. I've spent all week experimenting, and today I want to share the results and show you what Steam Deck VR is like with gameplay precisely as I saw it, so you can decide for yourself whether it's worth it to go through the trouble. What I didn't want to do though was install Windows on the Steam Deck. I saw that other deck owners had to install Windows for VR, probably for the drivers needed. Windows is going to be my last resort. I wanted it to work on the Steam Deck as it was delivered on the OS that was optimized for it so that I could tap into its full power. Since SteamOS is Linux based, it should be possible as Linux has VR support already. It isn't great, but doable. Now, SteamOS is a bit different, but at least it comes with Steam, so I was able to install Steam VR without problems. So the first thing I tried was plugging in my Valve Index using a powered docking station with a USB-C cable. But I encountered a common Linux Steam VR problem. It showed the game on the deck running well, while it was black inside the headset. Steam VR would constantly ask me to enable direct display, which I tried, but it would not enable. So I've spent a few hours finding out if I could solve it, but eventually decided to try something else first. ALVR was suggested to me as it has a Linux build. ALVR is a tool that allows you to stream PC VR games via Wi-Fi to your VR headset. It's similar to Virtual Desktop and Oculus Air Link, except ALVR is open source and free to download. Unfortunately, it didn't work out of the box, but after lots of tinkering and the developers' help, special thanks to Cordian, it worked. Here you can see gameplay captured from the Quest natively, so this is the actual video stream coming in from the Steam Deck. This includes all the streaming artifacts, stuttering, lag and latency as I saw it. I also enabled the Steam VR performance graph for your reference. Basically, as long as this number stays green, it can hold its FPS. If I get green lines here, that's also good. Red is not good. Pink lines mean the Steam Deck is having performance issues. This is what I'm getting a lot throughout my gameplay. I guess I'm asking a lot of the deck here. But yes, this is the PC version of Beat Saber, and as you can see, controller tracking was not that bad. Yes, there is noticeable tracking in latency, but I could complete expert songs. I actually think I could get better latency if I played around with the ALVR settings more. VRChat also launched. Of course, I wanted to try a world only available on PC. So, I entered a bit of a sketchy club that had warnings everywhere about flashing lights and possible elliptic attacks. Being the risk taker I am, I accepted it without reading too much. But I'm guessing this does not promise a great optimized build, so after dancing a bit as my sexy furry self, my deck froze. I've tried it again with a different build, but I think VRChat PC builds might just be too much for the deck as I crashed again. So then I also tried Half-Life Alyx. I mean, why not? I was astonished that the game even launched and that I could play it. Sort of. I don't know what I saw the whole time. Green flickering, lots of compression artifacts, stuttering and lag. So I tried lowering my ALVR video settings and it was better, which is what you're seeing right now. It still wasn't without stuttering and of course compression was very noticeable, but it ran, which is an incredible achievement for a tiny portable PC, right? Leave me a like on this video if you agree. I wanted to note though, the gameplay shown here does actually look a bit different from what I saw in VR. Like the stuttering didn't feel as bad as it seems from this flat video, but the compression artifacts were more present, so it looked a bit more blurry in the headset. However, it was good enough for me to see what I had to see. So yeah, if you have a gaming PC, I still recommend playing it on a desktop PC. I also noticed that when I had ALVR running for a while, my Steam Deck would get rebellious, like have trouble loading Steam VR inside the headset. Sometimes the Steam Deck screen would even turn itself on and off, and that's when I think the deck got too hot, because if I let it cool off for a bit, it started to work again. Maybe it was a bit unfair to try such a big VR game. So I also tried Compound, a very well-optimized PC VR game as it has a simplified yet detailed retro art style. The game is tiny, only needing about 350 MB to install. Don't be fooled though, the game is a pretty tough roguelite. So on a separate note, Compound is also coming on the Quest 2 natively and I highly recommend checking it out. But Compound ran pretty well on the deck. Still, there are evident streaming artifacts like blurriness, stuttering and reprojection, but it wasn't bad for me while in VR. I thought it was playable and I had a ton of fun. Interestingly, the recording shows a lot of stuttering, but I didn't notice this as much while in VR. It was pretty cool. But what makes this whole setup really incredible is of course that you can do this. I should be able to use my Steam Deck wirelessly and play Steam VR games. That's why it's so special, right? Look, I'm running Steam VR wirelessly on the Quest 2 with ALVR, and I'm able to play this Steam VR game. That's pretty incredible. Okay, it lagged a little bit, but still, such an incredible little thing. Let's go. This experiment just makes one thing very clear to me. Our future for standalone VR is going to be amazing. Before we end this video, I was wondering, are you still interested in a tutorial on how to set up ALVR on your Steam Deck too? If so, please leave me a like on this video and comment down below so I know there's enough interest to make one, because it's gonna be a lot of work. I personally still want to test VR with the Steam Deck more. See if we can get a better latency in ALVR with a dedicated router. Maybe we can get it to work with tethered headsets and it will be more playable. I just love figuring out these kind of things and I'm a big fan of Valve. So I'm not a massive dodo in Linux as it used to be my weapon of choice as a developer, but I'm definitely not a pro. So if you are and want to help me figure this out, join our Discord or reach out to me via Instagram or Twitter. I would love to figure this out together. The links are below. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this experiment. Please subscribe if you'd like to see more, and don't forget to smash that like button as it supports us tremendously. As always, VR on.